Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Do Good Better podcast. I am your co-host, Abby Furchner, and today we have a special guest with us. We have Susan Fochs, who is the founder of a nonprofit out in Wisconsin called Operation Not Alone. Susan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for asking me and wanting to have me this morning. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited because I think we should tell everyone how we kind of met because it's a small world. You
It's
actually
so
know one of my best friends from high school, Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of tell us that story, how you know Ellie and how it connects to me.
Yeah, so last year we both competed in the Miss Wisconsin competition through the Miss America organization. She was Miss La Crosse Oktoberfest and I was Miss South Central. So we got to know each other really well throughout that year competing. And then when I posted a picture, because I have previously interviewed Patrick for my podcast, because I love the setup that you have with this like wooden wall behind you. And so I posted his picture from that interview and she DM'd me immediately and she was like, oh my gosh, she's like, my best friend from high school, Abby, just got a job with him. And I was like, that's impossible. I was like, how can that even be? And then you sent me a message after I posted a review on your Facebook page.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You won the Do Good Better consulting giveaway for our birthday, our anniversary. And then that's how I connected the dots too. And I was like, how are we literally a state away from each other? And
exactly.
So cool. I just think that's so much fun to share those stories because honestly, we think the world is so big. We all know each other in some weird way.
It's so small and I love it.
Okay, but I want to talk about your organization because I just think this is so awesome. Operation Not Alone. Kind of give us the backstory on this because you actually started it at a pretty young age.
I did. So I was 18 years old and I was a freshman in college. I was at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. And what's funny about it is it was very synonymous with my Miss America journey. So again, I was very young. And when you first start competing, so I live in Wisconsin and I'm originally from Door County, which is the thumb.
Oh.
And so I was competing for my hometown title at like 17. I was a senior in high school. I knew nothing about what I was doing. I just knew that scholarship money was involved. And I'm a first generation low income student. So I was like, I need money for school. I'll try it any way that I can. And I knew that the scholarship competition was coming up. So I gave that a try. And with that, you have to have a platform, a social impact initiative that if you win all year, you're going to be promoting in the community, you're going to be advocating for, fundraising for, the whole kit and caboodle. And so the only thing at that point I knew I wanted was to do something with disabled veterans because my father is a 100% disabled Marine Corps veteran himself. And so that's just an environment that I've always grown up with, a story that I've always kind of like told with him because that's a very distinct way to grow up, And a lot of that has PTSD, anxiety, so much of it is mental health on top of some of his physical ailments as well. And so I knew I just kind of wanted to focus on veterans and I didn't know where to go from that. And then the next year when I went off to college, I just kept thinking about it and I kept thinking of different ways like how I could help that. I should know I didn't win that competition, but I just kept thinking,
but we are going to continue
that.
If
I tried this again. If I did it again, I was like, how would I actually kind of like niche it down? How can I take this a little bit more seriously? And I had a sorority sister who looked at me one day and was just like, Susan, that you could just take all these ideas and just make them into a nonprofit, right? And I said, no. Because my view of nonprofit like people, which was none because I had no experience in it, was like, I don't ask me where this came from, but it was like a white dude over 40 who already had like millions in the bank to just throw at like charity. Like that's what I thought it was because I was 18 and I didn't know any differently. And then she kind of just kept harping on that idea. She's like, I think that you can do this. She's like, I've know a website that has like the paperwork. I'll walk you through it. We'll do it together because I was a freshman. She was a senior. And she was like, I just think that we can do this. And I was like, I don't think so, but okay. I was like, if you're going to be my buddy and do it with me, like, sure, let's try. And you know what? Lo and behold, by January, we ended up filing all of the incorporation papers, our 501c3 application, really kind of niche down a mission that we were going to start by serving active duty service members by sending personalized care packages overseas. And here we are almost 8 years later, which is
so
crazy to me.
That is so crazy. And I love like the entrepreneur in your 18-year-old self. You were like, no, but like, okay. Sounds good.
I was like, twist my arm a little bit and
right.
Okay, fine. We'll figure it out.
Right. Okay. And I looked on your website and like you said, you put together these care packages that you send overseas, but you also deliver to nursing homes as well. Before we talk about that, I kind of want to just talk about what goes into these care packages. Are they kind of like community based? Does the community all take part in putting it together, or kind of what goes into these?
Yeah, so at this point, we now offer 6 different services that all kind of encompass like active duty service members, veterans, the community, mental health initiatives, the whole shebang. And so for our personalized care packages, it's very word of mouth and social media marketing that we get people in for it. And what happens really with that is sometimes we'll work with the service member directly. I really prefer it though when I get to work with a significant other, a family member, a friend, and kind of craft it to that service member, just like what they're missing. Like, what do they want? What's something from home that's going to make them feel a little bit better? What is something that they just like really need in this time? And it also, depending on what country they're currently stationed at, will definitely change some of their needs a little bit. And so I like working with those people because it usually is a surprise to the service member when it arrives, which I think is the more fun part. And even to that too, I always feel, and I joke that our packages show up because they're usually a surprise, like at the moment that those service members need them the most. Like we had one, I worked with a gal who now is on my board, actually is our director of donor relations. And her sister was stationed overseas. And her box idea was really cute. She was like, my sister loves movies. She gave me a list of all of her favorite movies. And then we got like popcorn and like movie box candy. And like, we made a really fun thing because she had her laptop, which had a DVD like player in it, but she didn't have enough internet to like stream anything. So we got all the DVDs, and the box arrived the day that she learned her tour was being extended and she no longer could come home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or her birthday. So for it to show up on that day that she got that like notice that she had to be there longer, I was like, she even said, she's like, it softened the blow a little bit because, she got like all these favorite things and her favorite movies. And so I always like that our packages kind of arrive when people need them the
like
most.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
honestly.
They're a little creepy that way. I don't try for that, but it's really fun. And so that's our personalized care packages. We work with, again, family members. I mean, sometimes I do work with service members directly for it. And usually because they ask for a couple of people in their unit, they try and make something for a group. And then we also do, and that's also year round. Like we do that on a request basis. And so then every year for Veterans Day, which is coming up, which is a little frightening, we do our annual cheer package. And so that is specific to veterans. And so we send these cute little cheer packages that are just like a continued, like, thank you for your service. Like, we're still thinking of you. We're still honoring the sacrifices that you made and probably the ailments that you're living with now, even though you're not in uniform and people aren't thanking you the way they normally are. And so that has some rebranded packs of Door County coffee. We have a new chocolate sponsor who is making something custom for us. It's just this very sweet box that will hopefully arrive at their doorstep on Veterans Day. And as of last year, we were very excited. We were able to send hundreds of packages to veterans in all 50 states. Wow. So everywhere in the US had a little like ONA package. And then we also, just to keep the love going for veterans, on Christmas Eve, traditionally, we will go into a local nursing home and deliver the same like 2-yard fleece blankets specific to their branch of the military to them, just to spread some like holiday cheer. This year with COVID, that's going to look a little different because we can't really just walk into a nursing home. And then for the community, we have some different social conscious community service programming called the Who is Your Hero presentation. Today, we just relaunched our Girl Scout Patchen program. So we have an updated program. Girl Scouts from all 1.8 million Girl Scouts across the country are eligible to earn this patch. And we already have seen, I would like to say, between 50 and 75 girls from like 5 different states have earned their own a patch. So we just relaunched that with my VP, Mackenzie, who actually works out in Buffalo, New York. And then our last bit is that we have a college intern program.
I absolutely love all of this. Like, I just can't, like, I love the DVDs. That story.
That one
oh my
was
gosh.
cute.
And I love the DVDs. Like, what's a DVD anymore? No one even knows.
Right. Well, and it was great because so many of the things that she liked were like in the $5 bin. So
right.
I was like, this is perfect.
But that's so awesome. Like, I know you talked about your dad, but I mean, what is it like going into these nursing homes or hearing from those spouses or those people that you customize these packages with? What is it like hearing their stories, or really going and delivering and giving that blanket to that veteran in the nursing home? What kind of is that emotion like for you?
It's really heavy because there are even times, especially when I was a title holder in the Miss America organization. I mean, people, this sounds silly. People used to book me for like certain parties and like birthday parties, like for veterans, and so I would bring these like custom blankets to these veterans, like in crown and sash, and people would get really excited to see me be there. But really, the nursing homes are definitely the most emotional because again, it's Christmas time, and the hardest part to that is, for the most part, like I try to go every year on Christmas Eve, and you know, they don't have families that are visiting them, or we're able to, you know, take them out for the day. They're pretty lonely. And so, which is why we chose that day very specifically, so that we could bring a little bit of that joy and that love to them when they're really kind of struggling on that day in particular. And we've done that for 4 years, and the amount of people who have just like sobbed with me, like in these nursing homes, it breaks my heart. But I mean, because it's even nurses, it's, you know, if there is family there that day, like people just get very emotional. Veterans love telling their stories. So they love sharing stories and memories, and just like really telling me what their time in the service really meant to them. And I mean, we've had people, there was one very particular. So our title, or our name is Operation Not Alone, and our tagline is Never Alone, Never Forget. And moments that really drive that home, like we had one 2 years ago, a veteran who, he was like watching TV. He was like in the little like, you know, like common area. And I came up and, you know, I presented him with his blanket, and I try and give him a little spiel that's like kind of cute. And I'm like, you know, like a little birdie told me that you had served in the, you know, United States Army. And I was like, we just really wanted to visit you this Christmas, like wish you a happy holiday and let you know that we're just still thinking about you. We still appreciate you for the service that you've done. And he was in a wheelchair, so I kind of draped the blanket like over his lap, and he just immediately started welling up with tears, and he grabbed my hands, and just like as he started like crying, and the cutest part to this was his wife was across the room in her wheelchair, and she saw him getting emotional, so she like wheeled herself to him, was trying to see what was going on, and he just was holding my hands, and he said, I didn't think anyone cared about what I had to do and the life that I had to live with his disabilities after he came home. He was like, I just thought that people stopped caring about me. And I just became like a wreck. And then his wife came up, and she saw what was happening, and then she got moved, and then she started crying, and it was just this little like 3-person crying fest in this nursing home. And we were just, but moments like that happen very often in the nursing homes. And then the other one too, and this is a very important part to our story, is the first care package we ever sent out in 2013. Keep in mind, so I'm like 19 at this point, and I'm just hoping that what we created like sticks You know, it's like spaghetti, like you're throwing stuff to the
Right.
wall. And I'm hoping that this is good. I hope people care about this. I hope that this does something for someone. And they just, at that point, I was like, I hope they think it's nice.
Right.
Like all I was thinking of. Because I didn't understand also how to like, test an idea and crowdfund and do all these things. But so we sent this first care package to a gentleman who I had connected with at a different volunteer event in like December. And it's July at this point. And it was very difficult to get his address. I had to talk to way too many family members to try and track down like where he was serving in Afghanistan. And because he was a second lieutenant, this was his second tour. And so he had gone up in the ranks, and he was really looking over a unit of, I think, 8 or 9 people. Mm. And in a very traditional male thought process, he was like, I'm in charge of this unit. He's like, I'm in charge of these troops. He's like, I have to be stronger than ever. I have to be tougher than ever, which means showing no emotion, which means showing that like, I'm not having a hard day. I'm not having a hard time. None of these things are, affecting me. He's like, 'cause I have to be tough for all of these people. And that really started wearing on him very deeply. He started becoming quite depressed and had suicidal thoughts. And our care package arrived on the day that he was very deeply contemplating suicide. Oh my gosh. And he wrote me, so I sent this package, I want to say in April, and in July, so keep in mind too, I mostly funded the whole nonprofit for a few years just based off of like my summer waitressing money, because I was a college student, right? Mm. And so I was back home in Door County, I was waitressing, it's July, it's hot, and I was working like a double that day, and my mom called me on my lunch break to tell me that I got a letter from Afghanistan. I was like, open it, read it to me. And it was this 2-page, like front and back letter from this gentleman describing all of that to me. And literally saying, he's like, your package arrived on the day that I was contemplating suicide. And he was like, and it was the thing that stopped me. And he was like, because it reminded me that someone back home cared that I made it back. Mm. And someone cared that like I was going to get through this, instead of just kind of feeling like this mule that was just taking on all of these terrible thoughts and feelings and emotions and all the hard things about being deployed. And so like I'm bawling, my mom's bawling. I'm in the back of this restaurant, like I'm about to start bawling. And that, I think what was so important was that was our first care package, because that was like, because founding it, doing everything was just me going, I hope this is going to be good. I hope this sticks. I hope this like won't be a weird, embarrassing like thing that I did once in my youth. And so, but when I got that letter back from him, like that was really my spark moment where I was like, that's it. I was like, this is what I'm here to do. I was like, this is my purpose. Like, this is why we made this whole thing. And like, that was the moment it became so clear and so defined for me that I was like, we're done.
Right.
We got to keep going. So, yeah. And that's honestly what's kept us going from that moment. Because I can't say if I didn't get that response from him, I wouldn't have, but like, it definitely wouldn't have solidified the need.
Right. Because I feel like even just with those 2 stories, especially with veterans, like you said, in the nursing homes or just even back at home, and for those soldiers that are still fighting overseas or fighting anywhere, I feel like a lot of them do feel forgotten, and mm-hmm. like it doesn't matter as much as it once did, or that now that they're no longer serving, they don't matter as much as they once did. And I feel just by those stories that this is the reason why Operation Not Alone is so important to have as an organization.
Yeah. So it's just, like I said, it's what's kept us going. So for example, I now have a team of 5, including myself, and we meet bi-weekly. And we're an all remote team. We always have been. And so we'll meet every other week. And to start, kind of for team building, because like none of us have really all met each other in person, but also just to kind of keep us connected to the mission. So we start every meeting by everyone having to like go around in a circle and say our mission moment for the week.
Oh, wow.
Like what's bringing us back to like why we're here and what we're doing. And then we also share like a personal and a professional win of the week, since we all have other full-time jobs that aren't Ona. And so, which is, again, a little bit of team building, but we all have to start with a mission moment that happened in the last 2 weeks so that we're like, why are we here?
Right. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. Seriously, that story, wow, that kind of got to me for a second. Where are we even
talking about?
Okay, so COVID, big thing going on in the world right now. How or what ways can people, is there ways people can donate certain things to Operation Not Alone? Kind of what are veterans and soldiers needing right now the most?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's really hard with the care packages. And we used to do care package supply drives, and I kind of discourage it at this point for the two facts that, number one, we do them on a per request basis. So it's as they kind of come rolling in, and two, because they are customized to whatever that person is needing. It's so hard to anticipate that. Like, there are some staples that we put in every package, which is one of those 2-yard fleece blankets, socks, Q-tips, baby wipes, foot powder, very general things will always go in there. But after that, specifically for like food and stuff, we try and customize it to what that person wants and needs. And so that gets a little hard. People can always definitely donate if they want to donate products like that. Those really staple items. So again, baby wipes, Q-tips, some socks, hand and foot warmers, things like that are always needed. And we have a P.O. box in Door County that people can always ship things to. Number two, however, we started 2 new services to be born out of the coronavirus pandemic, and they will stop when the pandemic one day will subside. And those are, and it really broadened our mission, but stayed with the name of Operation Not Alone, which was COVID relief kits to people who were fighting food insecurity, and also a healthcare hero program to be sending kind of meals to those who really weren't having breaks in hospitals. And so, those are available to anyone across the US. And so we've sent out over 100 COVID relief kits to families who have been financially affected by the pandemic. And so if anyone also wanted to do some non-perishable food that way that we could send to a COVID relief kit, we can always take that for sure. And then for the nursing home visits, what I love, we gave it a cute name last year, and it was, being like an Ona elf. And so we wrote down the instructions if people wanted to go to their local nursing home and how they can do the Never Alone nursing home at their location, because I love doing it, but I'm also only one person. I can only hit. So I once did it one Christmas where I hit every single nursing home in Door County, which was 10. Like, I did a tour of nursing homes one day with my poor sweet mother. And, so we made up instructions that people can go do it in their own nursing homes, and how to get the blankets and the names and pick the nursing home and do the whole thing. I think what we're going to do this year, and I have to call some nursing homes and check that this will be okay. If we create the blankets, name them, and we'll do it all very sanitary, but individually bag them and tie them up and then have them sit in the bag for 2 weeks so that it is quarantined. And then, tie the name on a tag, on the bag, and then just drop them off at the front of the nursing home. I think might be our solution for this year. So that'll obviously take us close to a month lead time to make sure that the blankets can quarantine inside the bag. We have a very clean quarantined home that we can definitely make these in and make sure everything is clean and well done. But I think that's going to be our solution this year. So if anyone is looking for a Christmas, just joy-filled project and would like to work with us to visit their local nursing home and spread some love to your local veterans, please send me an email, which is susan@operationnotalone.net, and we'll get you hooked up with your local nursing home.
I love that idea so much. That is elf. Stop. I love it.
That's the cutest thing I could do. And it was so hard, was people were even going to do them kind of throughout the year for different service projects. And they were going to tie it to some other holidays like Memorial Day, whatever. And then when COVID hit, it was no one can go into nursing homes. Right. So I had a lot of people that were doing it in their communities and then have to just sit on the materials for a really long time. So
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I was just tie them up nice and tight, plastic bag, keep them quarantined again. Because if they quarantine bag for 2 weeks. And then if we also drop them off with like some disinfectant for the nurses to distribute them, I think it should be fine.
That should work.
I haven't double checked that with a nursing home yet, so don't necessarily quote me.
We'll let
but
you
I think
know.
that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we'll definitely let everyone know so that they can definitely take part in it, because that's so awesome. And this, I just want everyone also, because we're talking about it, this is not just in Wisconsin. Like, you can do this anywhere in the US. And so say I live in Connecticut and I know somebody that's in the service that's overseas, or I know a veteran that lives in Virginia that's in a nursing home. How can I reach out to you? What is the best way to go about wanting to customize a kit for said person?
Yeah, so if they just go to our website, which is operationnotalone.net, all of the forms are on there. So COVID relief kits, care packages, cheer packages coming up. We will have a cutoff of, I think, November 5th to send out a cheer package to a veteran. There's truly no limit. So again, we, as a remote team, like, we're based in Wisconsin for the sole fact that I'm here. But like I said, my vice president lives in Buffalo, New York, so she kind of has her setup out there, but we ship and do things all across the country. So literally, this is a national nonprofit. Anyone from anywhere can do something with us. Actually, I would say the majority of the Girl Scout patches that we've given out and girls who have done our program have all been in like Northern California. Wherever people are, like, you can do programs with Operation Alone, which I think is so fun, and we've tried to make it as adaptable to wherever you are as possible. So definitely anything there would be great. But just go to operationnotalone.net. All of the information humanly possible is on that website. And if it's not, my email is also on there, which again is susan@operationnotalone.net.
Perfect. And of course, we'll have that all in the show notes. But Susan, before we wrap up, is there any last words of wisdom you would like to share? Anything about Operation Not Alone that we didn't touch on that you want to kind of give your 2 cents on? The floor is yours.
Oh my gosh, the pressure is
I know.
on. I love, it has been one of the most sincere joys of my life and really solidifying, I think, like, my purpose in life. Not just starting the organization, but watching it grow and watching the impact that it's had on people. Like, the ripple effect of things has been so crazy. It's been amazing. So like I said, we are a remote team. And so, I mean, our team lives in like Stevens Point, Portage, Milwaukee, Madison, and Buffalo, New York. So if anyone has a specific like skill set and expertise I love, whether it be grant writing, marketing, anything, please reach out to us. I would love to keep growing our team. I really am only one person. So anything that people can do, if they just want to be a part of our team and be a part of this mission to just help veterans aid their mental health. We really are working on growing that initiative and seeing what we can do more in direct mental health initiatives for people. If you have any expertise, please reach out. Come be with us. We would love to have you. So.
Perfect. And like I said, we'll have all the contact info, the website, everything all in the show notes below. So all you have to do is click that link and you'll be able to go right to it. But Susan, thank you so much for being a guest. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the official Do Good Better podcast.